To win, warriors must know why. There is never victory on defense. War has goals, battles, objectives. To know future, study past. To understand human nature, learn divine. The secrets are in scripture, hidden in history. The Bible begins at the end, before the beginning, an ego-engineered evil and a disconnected devil. First sin is a passive, unprotective atom, permitting the first psyop. Basic weapon is body, ultimate mind, battlefield soul. Gain the mind, win the soul. Rulers write history, heroes define it, martyrs make it. Self-sacrifice survives sabotage. Elite soldiering is mind over matter. Ultimate warriorship is all heart. Valentine was martyred for marriage making, sanctifying the highest and hardest sacrament, ordaining the maker's micro-society, family. A retired soldier, special agent, and spy turned whistleblower warrior, served and sabotaged, rejected and redeemed, failed and forgiven, betrayed and saved, rejecting revenge, humbled and blessed, repurposed in redemption as chaplain, leader, teacher, and truth teller. Now your intelligence officer, following God, leading my family, and any that choose to join on our long walk to faith and freedom. Welcome. I'm Jeff Prather, and this is the Prather Point. And wishing you a happy Valentine's Day. And yes, 250 AD, Saint Valentine, or Saint Valentine's, I'm not sure, 1, 2, or 3, was martyred for performing marriages of Roman soldiers who wanted to be married. That's the beginning of the fall of the corrupted, fallen Roman Republic, and the same way we will take back and rescue and restore ours as well. I'm not on Rumble. It's not working today, so I'm trying something on Twitter here. We'll see how. Yep, it's not working on Rumble today. But thanks so much for your patriotism and patronage. As your intelligence officer, I'm still serving our country, and your support keeps me independent of corrupt big tech media. If you'd like more Prather, grab my daily videos, transcripts, and resources at patreon.com/Jeffrey Prather. If you just want the articles, go to jeffreyprather.locals.com. My podcasts are on most platforms and still live, 1 p.m. Arizona time, Tuesdays and Thursdays. And my podcast, books, and DVDs are at jeffreyprather.com. What we offer can't be bought. It must be earned. Praying and training together year after year, build circles of timeless trust. To help rescue our republic, team up with Team America at jeffreyprather.com/join Team America. If you're abroad, jeffreyprather.com, join Team Global. Try my kinetic Christology chaplaincy at christchaplaincy.com. To study up and get my training videos, go to jeffreyprather.com/shop. My books are at Amazon and also in the shop. Train Up in Self-Defense, bujinkanusa.com. Train Up in Firearms, warriorschool.com, handgun martial arts class, HMAC. I'm also on American Media Periscope on Mondays and Wednesdays, the Prather Brief at 5, and on Brighteon TV Friday mornings at 10. I'm cutting back on my courses, classes, intensives, and seminars, but still have openings for the committed. Most committed wins. Many come, few stay. Most talk, few do. Perseverance wins over talent. Get your head in the fight. Lean in. Freedom is taken. You're going to have to take it. So that's a happy Valentine's Day. I'm going to go ahead and remove from Rumble here. I'm running on Twitter right now. We'll see how that works out. And I am briefly on Yankee Tango before I leave there as well. But wanted to show you this clip here. Please take a look at this. So you on Twitter that can't see this, I'm showing a YouTube video of no DAPL where Antifa is showing how to sabotage rail tracks. And they are using Lakota music, talking about strong heart societies. That's a traditional elite Lakota warrior society. Taking action where you are, take railroads, take bridges, do it, take strong hearts. Anybody who's fighting have a strong heart. So I am not going to say that that is still trying to figure out how to do all this stuff. That is not necessarily the Strong Heart Society. I don't say that at all. Oftentimes the communists will infiltrate movements, but that they were using the Strong Heart Society as a Lakota traditional elite warrior society. They'd stake themselves to the ground so the women and children could retreat. You're probably more familiar with the dog soldiers. Not saying that that's them, but saying that if there's lots of debate about whether this is sabotage, it's looking more and more like this is sabotage, certainly. And I'll see if I can pull that up here. Yes, there we go. And so here is a archive today from 2017, oil trains disrupted in solidarity with no DAPL. This is backing up that video that I just showed you. This is a claim of responsibility for causing disruption to the Pacific Northwest Corridor rail line north of Vancouver. 6-gauge booster cables were attached to the rail junctions. Exactly what I was showing you in the video there. This is low risk and easily reproducible. This particular railway was targeted because it is a key transportation route for crude oil from the Bakken region of North Dakota. This is a direct act of solidarity with those continuing the resistance to the Dakota Access Pipeline in the face of recuperation and brutal government repression there. So they're saying they're doing that for the Lakota. I'm not saying that is the Lakota doing that by any means. But then here is a clip from a video that just came out, White Noise, on Netflix, you know, the Obama-sponsored network, that happened in East Palestine, showing exactly what happened. And it's based off of a recent book.
Do sheep have lashes? Ask your father. We're going sideways. Dad, do sheep have lashes? Doesn't anyone want to pay attention to what's actually happening?
I wish there was something that I could do. I wish I could outthink the problem. There are two kinds of people in the world. Killers and guides.
I don't think that's really what I wanted to show you. Let's see if I can find it here.
Let's watch a sitcom or something.
No!
They're calling it the airborne toxic event. It won't come this way.
Well, we have to leave our home.
Of course not.
How do you know?
I just know.
Okay, what if it's dangerous?
We have a situation.
So there you go. That is so I'm showing you YouTube videos of Antifa actually taking credit for sabotaging rails a couple of years back. Of course, they are saying that's nonviolent there. They're not going to put up saying that they are violent there. And then I'm showing you recent Netflix, of course, Antifa.com still goes to whitehouse.gov. But according to the corrupted FBI, it's just an idea. Nothing's going on here. This article, though, is showing that the Ohio River, and I'm from Cincinnati, I did my first test dive in 1970, got certified in PADI and NASDS, which doesn't even exist anymore, in the Ohio River. And the Ohio River goes into the Mississippi. The Mississippi is the Nile of America. That's where the great Cahokia civilization was. The mound civilization's bigger than London at the same time. And the mounds are bigger than the pyramids, the Great Pyramid including, but they have not been preserved. because if you're trying to take over a country, you don't want to show that there was actually cities, towns, farms, councils there at all. So that also is very, very significant, and it fits with what has been going on with the sabotage of everything. Of course, there's been over 200 food processors plants now sabotaged completely. Talked about the egg shortage and chicken shortage, because that is how you can preserve resistance to COVID, is through eating egg yolks. And my wonderful wife just did a little funny video, because my stuff is also grim, and on our chickens and building more chicken coop. And so if you want to see that, you go to patreon.com. And unlike my videos, my daily training videos at the $25 level, hers comes out once a week at the $5 level. And at the $15, you're getting transcripts, for example, of my recent sermon at christchaplaincy.com as well. But going back to, well, rather coming up from 2017, when Antifa took credit for derailing trains. In 2020 of December, 2 women in Washington State were arrested for trying to disrail trains. And the U.S. Attorney Brian Moran explained that there have been 41 incidents of shunts placed on tracks, causing crossing guards to malfunction, interfering with automatic braking systems, and in one case causing the near derailment of tanks of hazardous chemicals. That's more than 3 attempts a month. And of course, that's exactly what just happened in East Palatine, and it's now going near Columbus, near the Pennsylvania border, but also Cincinnati, where I'm from. Cincinnati being named after Cincinnatus, the Roman general who gave back power. He was the last guy to do that before it's George Washington. There are very few true statesmen like that. And Cincinnati has 7 hills like Rome as well. But this is exactly tying in with what is going on. Shout out to Team America Headquarters Intelligence for finding me this stuff. I couldn't remember where it was at. They found it for me. And again, the Justice Department under Trump tied this in with the January 19th claim and January 20th of itsgoingdown.org. And again, this is Antifa, communist, terrorist, destroying things. And they're saying that they are doing this for Native tribes. As far as I know, none of the tribes were doing anything like this. And I did train under Dakota Wichasa Wakan. Chanupa Wichasha is a pipe man, and I'm ordained to pray with the prayer pipe as well and sing those songs in Lakota when I am doing that. But that's not the way tribes do it. Not saying there aren't bad tribal folks, but that's not normally the way that is done. But it is clear that they are up on their ante, because they're going from unconventional warfare to cutting rails. Of course, we've seen the backup of the container ships. We've seen the food processor plants destroyed. So this is just siege warfare, just like a castle, except now our bodies are under siege through the mRNA. And they are getting more bold because, of course, there is no real more law enforcement going on at all. And so I didn't cover this yesterday in my American Media Periscope. I had Todd Callender, the great liberty lawyer luminary, on with me, and we were talking about the Marburg coming back. And today, the WHO was talking about Marburg, and I will review that. But I really wanted to get to new stuff. I'm trying to do new stuff daily, and this will get up on Rumble later, but I guess it's working on Twitter still, as I can see. So the train derailment from February 3rd looks more like sabotage every day. There wasn't a lot of attention given to it, but there was a lot of attention to the so-called UFOs and the F-16s and 22s using missiles to shoot down balloons, which is a total ridiculous dangle. Don't pay attention to it. If they want you to look up, look down, or look within, as I said during my intro. And of course, being Valentine's Day, A lot of people don't know that, again, St. Valentine was marrying Roman soldiers. The Emperor Gothicus did not want married soldiers, and Valentine did it anyway. So he was executed about 250 AD. And of course, marriage is the highest and hardest sacrament, blessing the union between a man and a woman, which is what marriage is really about, because only a man and a woman together can make a baby, despite what pop culture and crazy trannies say. And he opposed that. He was executed for that. And so we're not quite there yet, but not far behind with pedoed public schools and tranny teachers and commie churches as well. I've got to call into Pastor Artur Pawlowski to see where he's at, but he has not gotten back to me yet. Regardless, though, if they're focusing on missiles and balloons, then you should look elsewhere. And one of the places you should look, and it could also be the Michigan shooting, which, by the way, was a black shooter in Michigan. The photos won't show that as well. That doesn't fit the script as well. But again, the kinetic killing that's going on, coming up through the military edge, fighting men coming across the border, is sporadic and covert and clandestine. That is, they're not wearing uniforms, they're not carrying flags, although sometimes they do wear Biden shirts and have Biden flags. But that's the kinetic aspect of it. Is it's not going to be our military kicking doors and killing citizens. It's those that they are importing. The same sins that were committed against the tribes by the colonists and pioneers are now being committed against us. That is karma. But they've upped the ante with this train derailment, and that has caused the release of the vinyl chloride back in February 3rd, which isn't even the worst of it, because then they lit it on fire. And this is very, very deadly. So the same mask maniac morons that shut down schools, masked kids, none of that worked, have reopened poison gas areas and poison water areas. And of course, the birds are falling out of the sky, the fish are dying. The Ohio River is going into the Mississippi. Now, some experts are saying that this will be diluted, but they came out later with more chemicals that were on there. And so they said they could do this favorable burn. Now, burns are very natural. The real climate, and of course, there's no Greta or what's the fat guy who invented the internet? No, they're nowhere to be found for real climate problems. But again, it's not about climate change. The climate is always changing. They can't predict the weather next week, but they're predicting, they were predicting ice ages and then heat waves and the oceans melting. But the tribes and lightning, the tribes emulated the creator with lightning strikes to burn the prairie, to increase the grass, to increase the buffalo herds. And the problem is desertification. Desertification is the lack of large herds of wild hooved animals moving across the plains, whether it's Africa or America, bison in America, and wildebeest and all kinds of different animals in Africa and other places, and eating some grass, moving on, pooping out seeds, making a little divot with their hooves so that there's a little hillock for where they ate the grass and it grows back. They've mowed the grass, not torn the grass up by the roots like sheep do, which is why, by the way, why the cattlemen didn't like sheep. They don't usually explain that in the movies. But then everything would grow back even more. So that is what has happened there. But what they are doing here is carefully destroying everyone. The aluminum particulates in the chemtrails. Now, recently I talked about how in condensation in cold weather, back in World War II, they were talking about their contrails in cold weather, letting them track them and under fire. That's not the same thing as chemtrails. There's plenty of patents. I've put them up, had Dane Wigington on the show. There are both. It's a complicated issue. It's not a simple movie. But the reality here is that the global elite are killing off their nation states populations so that they no longer have nation state borders. That's why we no longer have a southern border, because we've become an economic zone for the corporate cartels Moderna, Pfizer, as well as the illegal cartels that I fought as a DEA agent. So workers exposed to vinyl chloride can be exposed without being aware of its presence. A 5-minute exposure to airborne concentrations of 8,000 ppm can cause dizziness, and the Ohio citizens have gone back, have experienced headaches and dizziness, drowsiness, loss of coordination. Death may result from respiratory depression. And then now they're calling this reactive airway dysfunction syndrome, RADS, because they love abbreviations. So the same maniac morons that masked everybody up, shut everything down for the COVID, like the flu, and I guess I'll get off of Yankee Tango now before they throw me off.